one of the big setbacks is you feel like you got to put on a personality when you go online. Like I got to look a certain way, dress a certain way, be a certain way. And that leads to being a little less authentic. You might, it colors what you do, but what really connects with people is being authentic to who you are.
This episode is sponsored by TherapyNotes, therapynotes.com. Be sure and check them out, and be sure and use the promo code Gordon, Gordon, and you can try them out for 2 months for free. Over 15 years ago, when I started my private practice, I had to learn a lot, and most of it the hard way, and I don't think you need to do the same. Hi, I'm Gordon Brewer, a licensed psychotherapist, and welcome to the Practice of Therapy podcast, part of the PsychCraft network of podcasts. Join me in this journey of discovery as we have conversations with other leaders and professionals in both the mental and allied health fields. Join us as we explore both the business and clinical sides of running a private practice.
Rachel here. Gordon is taking care of some personal things, so I thought I'd hop on and introduce this episode. Today, he's talking with James Marland about burnout that comes from trading hours for income, and why the answer isn't just throw a course together. This is a real, honest conversation about building something sustainable, showing up as your true self, and rethinking how we grow as therapists. Whether you've considered creating a course or just want more freedom in your practice, this one is for you. James is giving our listeners a complimentary coaching call. Go to practiceoftherapy.com/James to sign up. Quick shout out to our partners. Fully Booked Pros helps you attract more private pay clients through simple, targeted Google ads. Learn more at practiceoftherapy.com/FBP. And don't miss Mental Health Wear TN, Ashley's shop full of inspiring gear for mental health professionals and advocates. Check it out at mentalhealthweartn.com. Now, before we get to James, you'll hear a bit about the PsychCraft Network and our show sponsor, TherapyNotes.
Hi, I'm Whitney Owens. If you don't know me, I am the person behind the Wise Practice podcast, which is part of the PsychCraft network of podcasts. I am so proud to be a part of this network, along with my good friend, Gordon Brewer, who's doing such amazing work on helping people on their practice journey. If you haven't discovered the Wise Practice podcast yet, you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. I'd love for you to join us as we explore how to grow a faith-based practice that brings you the income you need and the lifestyle you want. Be sure to check out the podcast and other helpful information at whitneyowens.com.
Rachel here with a quick shout out to TherapyNotes, the EHR that Gordon uses and loves for running his group practice. If you've ever been looking for a solid, all-in-one platform to manage your notes, scheduling, billing, and even secure client messaging, this is it. Gordon's been using TherapyNotes for years, and it's honestly made a huge difference in how smooth things run behind the scenes. He's always saying how it saves him time and keeps everything organized, and as a practice owner, that's huge. And get this, they've just rolled out Therapy Fuel, which is an amazing suite of AI tools that help write your notes faster. You can generate progress notes from session summaries or even from transcriptions. You can also create contact notes straight from secure messages and automatically summarize client history forms. Basically, it's like having a little documentation assistant built right in. Plus, TherapyNotes is always adding new features like automated payments, secondary insurance billing, and a growing library of outcome measures. And if you ever get stuck, their customer service is phenomenal. Seriously, you can call or email 24/7 and talk to someone who actually knows what they're doing. So, if you've ever been thinking about switching or just getting started, now's a great time. Head over to therapynotes.com, click Start My Free Trial, and use the promo code GORDON to get 2 months free. All right, back to the show.
everyone, and welcome again. And so the podcast, and my guest today is no stranger to this podcast. James, how many times have we done episodes together?
Probably two on virtual assistants and one on online courses. So this will probably be the second one on online courses. So this might be my third or fourth time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, but James is a veteran to this, and James has been a longtime friend of mine, and I'm happy for you to get to know James if you haven't heard from him yet. But James, as I start with everyone, tell folks a little more about yourself and how you've landed where you've landed.
Yeah, sure. I'm in the online course creation space. I help make it easy for therapists to launch online educational products that will help them fund their greater mission, create a bigger impact, and also fulfill some of their inborn mission desired needs to do more for a certain group of people.
Right. And I know James has helped me a lot over the years and just getting good content creation that's a quality content. And also James is one of the, he and his podcast, which you might want to tell folks a little bit about your podcast,
Sure.
James, but are part of the Psychcraft Network. So, but why don't you tell them a little bit about your podcast, Jim?
The podcast, yeah, absolutely. The podcast is called The Scaling Therapy Practice, and I help people diversify their income through online educational resources. I talk a lot about the tools, tips, and tricks I've learned along the way to help build online courses that people actually want to buy.
Right. Yeah. And so be sure and check that out. I mean, I'm
over 100 episodes now. It's hard to believe.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is, it goes by fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I know one of the things James and I wanted to just kind of talk about and let you listen into our conversation is just this whole thing around being able to scale your practice beyond just the therapy world, but therapy room rather, and really look at, some of the gifts and talents that you have as a therapist that can translate in other ways. And one way in particular that is being able to teach and offer courses, whether they're online or live or however, as a way to bring in additional income for yourself. And as I like to say, I know James, you and I have talked about this before, is just going from the one-to-one model of providing services to the one-to-many way of providing services or helping people.
Yeah, I like to explain what I do. I like to help unlock therapists from just the chair or the couch, where they are just locked behind the desk doing the same thing over and over every day that can lead to burnout. But the big problem with that is if the time spoils, I guess. Like if you're not working, if you're not seeing somebody, you're not earning money. So it's difficult to take days off because who's going to earn the money to pay the bills? Nobody if you're off. When you take vacation, who's earning the money? Nobody. There's nothing there to help generate revenue when you're not doing the work. So that's one of the problems I solve. And the other one is how do you get your message out to more people with the same amount of effort or similar amount of effort? And so courses that you record, it's not a lie to say it's not as easy as you might think. It's work to get it set up, but you get the outcome is disproportional to the work that you put in, meaning you do it once and then you can sell it multiple times. So that's one of the big problems though the therapists face is that they run out of time. They're tired, who's working when they're not. And so online courses can help shore up the gap and give them some time freedom and location freedom while continuing to share their message.
Right. Yeah. And it is, I think there's a lot of different ways. And this is one of the ways in which James, one of the many ways James helps people is being able to conceptualize what it is that you want to share, but also just the whole logistics behind doing all of that, which I think is, at least in my experience, has been one of the things that kind of keeps people from thinking they can do it is they get hung up with the logistics of it. But you want to say some more about that?
Well, I think many therapists and people who are mission driven, like they know that they're called to do a little more. Like they know they're called to do a little more. They also know that they can help people, right? They're masters at their craft. They perfected it. They say the same thing over and over to multiple groups of people. They get results in the one-to-one therapy or even group therapy. So they're good at what they do. People love their service and they get confidence from it. But it's the stepping outside of the comfort zone and coming up with the beliefs like, well, I'm not like this big person, or I don't, who would listen to me? I don't have a big audience, or I don't know if I can sell this because I don't have a mailing list or I don't have a social media following. It's all those distractors or those limiting, I guess they're called limiting beliefs. You listen to the limiting beliefs. So you're stuck in planning mode where you're planning and dreaming mode. Dreaming where you're like, oh, someday I'm going to have an online course. Someday I'm going to have a product that I can sell. Someday I'll be able to spend more time on the people that I know I can help the best someday. And then someday gets put into a drawer in your desk drawer. And then the next project comes up and you forget about it. And then it's a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 years before you pick it back up. So I think imposter syndrome and then stuck in planning mode is what happens. I mean, when I get stuck, I like to watch a video, like I like to learn something, like, okay, if I just took one more course, if I just watched one more YouTube video, if I just asked AI, what's the best way to do this? And then I feel, if I feel like I did something, and then nothing gets done. So that's what I do. I don't know what you return to when you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I do that it's almost in a part of the planning process for me is to go and look and see what other people have done in a similar realm, whether they've taught a similar course or whether they have put some sort of program together similar to what I'm thinking of. And I just go and look and see, okay, how have they approached this? And then as a starting place, and then just that gives me ideas about, okay, if I were to do it, I'd tweak it this way and do it this other way or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you're stuck in the comparison trap, that's you look at what other people do and you're like, oh, I could never be like them. Mm-hmm. But I compare that to, I'm in a town with 5 pizza shops, but everybody likes pizza and you might not make pizza the way somebody else do, but you're going to make it exactly the way somebody wants it. Like having 5 pizza shops in one town means people like pizza. So having 5 courses on anxiety means people struggle with anxiety. And if you can niche it down to what you're really good at, anxiety with school children or anxiety in life transitions or anxiety with changing jobs or anxiety in relationships, whatever you're good at, if you can niche it down to that, your dream client, the client who desperately wants what you have, you're going to be reading their mind and speaking their language. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things I think, you spoke of imposter syndrome. And, I think when we do that, get caught in that comparison trap, we don't really do ourselves any service with that because, as you're speaking about, James, is that your way of doing things, your uniqueness as a therapist, as a person or somebody that is going to present stuff is going to resonate with people in many different ways. And you will find your tribe, so to speak, with people that you resonate with. I know just in doing what I do with the practice of therapy, there are numerous podcasts on starting a private practice or running a private practice. And a lot of those people are great friends of mine, but we're all different in the way that we present things and the way our voice, so to speak, and all of that. And I think so recognizing that you're going to resonate. It's just like you do with clients in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that frees us to be authentic. I think one of the big setbacks is you feel like you got to put on a personality when you go online. Like I got to look a certain way, dress a certain way, be a certain way. And that leads to being a little less authentic. You might, it colors what you do, but what really connects with people is being authentic to who you are. Like for the longest time, I didn't put any of I just had books in my background. I blurred out my background, but in my background, I just had books, like books, business books, because I want people to think I'm smart. And I love to read, and I just want people to connect that way. But I also like Legos, So I have a Lego tree in my backyard. In my back, I have the what is it called? The support therapy pickle, the emotional support pickle. It's in my background because I have a story about emotional support pickle. I have a pickle story. I have like Transformer toys and an owl bear in the background from a video game I played. Like I used to hide that stuff. I used to be on not that I did not share that side of my personality. And the people who, like Legos and toys and fun and like emotional support pickles, they're the ones who are going to like me, and they're going to do, be like, "Oh, I think I want to be like James, or I like James. I can resonate with him and I want to be like him. I wonder if there's something he offers that I can use, or when I'm looking for the problem, I can use it." And so it's that authenticity that we often sometimes hide from, that I was hiding from for a while. It makes you like everyone else, and people don't want somebody like everybody else. They want you. Like they want what your ideal client, the people that resonate with you, want you. They don't want a watered down you. They need you. So yeah. I got toys on my bookshelf now.
Okay. That's always a good thing. Always a good thing. So, I think one of the things, there's lots of different ways in which people could think about diversifying their income. And I know there's, on the clinical side of things, if you're a solo practitioner, expanding to having a group practice, then you're making money from what other people are doing. Another way that I think you could, on the clinical side, are to actually start offering group sessions and that sort of thing. But I think even a better way to go from one to many is through the creation of a course or seminar, webinars, those kinds of things. And I know one of the things that, James, you put together is just kind of a one pager or whatever, of just starts out with 3 reasons not to go create a course. So you want to say something about that? Yeah.
Yeah. When I first started out doing this, I'm like, oh, therapists know stuff that people need to know. I worked in the therapy realm for a while. Access to service was difficult. But so what if there was a way for easily distribute this information in a way that people would want to buy and understand? So I was thinking, everybody needs to create an online course. I believe every therapist has something that they're really good at that the world needs to have. So I started out doing that, but as I get longer into this journey, there's probably, the online courses isn't for everybody, because maybe you're not bent for it, or maybe, you don't like some of the technology or the training. But I have three main reasons that you should not create an online course. See if any of these resonate with you. One, and I got this from Julie Harris. She did a little mini webinar for me. Is the first reason is to not create an online course is to save your struggling therapy practice. Like an online, like if you're thinking, oh, I need to generate some revenue, the therapy aspect isn't working, but I can create an online course because online courses generate all this income. That is not a reason to start an online course, because the online course could be a detour. Like your what you went to school for, what you got your degree in, what you've invested all this money in is for the foreseeable future is probably how you're going to earn your money. It's how you're going to earn your money. So if you're not earning money, an online course isn't going to fix your struggling practice. In fact, it's probably going to drain resources away from marketing, good customer care, answering the phone, web blogging, all those things that might networking that might generate some income from you. It's going to divide your attention for a little bit.
Yeah. So don't quit your day job too quickly.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Well,
to
everybody
say.
needs a runway. Yeah. Do you know what the runway principle is? Like a runway.
I think that remind me of that. Yeah.
Well, it's when you're starting something new. If your business, your new venture is a plane, it needs time and space to get up to speed so it can fly. And so the runway is cash, really. Like it's cash or energy, but whatever your runway is, like everybody has a limited runway. So if you have a short runway, you need to get up in the air quickly, but most businesses don't generate revenue first. There's all these startup expenses and they drain your cash and energy and resource. So have a runway to build, which might mean you fix your SEO or your web page or your lead generation for your practice, which gives you the runway to grow into something else. Fix what's wrong now. There's probably some other problem that is going on before you just jump off and say, "Oh, an online course is going to fix my problem." It's not going to save a struggling practice.
There's certainly people out there that have gone from having full-time therapy practices into doing consulting or doing online courses and that kind of thing. But it's kind of like the same advice I give people that are maybe working for an agency or a nonprofit or something like that, and they're wanting to go into private practice. Don't assume that if you quit your job at the nonprofit and then just open your doors as a therapist, you're going to be,
flooded. Flooded.
And that's just not the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to own your own business.
I think that would be the same for creating a course, is to recognize that there's some process to it and there's some patience that's required, and being able to market, not only create the course and create the content for it, but also marketing it once you've got it created so that it's something that
there's a lot you can't just put it out on Instagram once, like, oh, I got this course, and expect the dollar signs to roll in. There's a journey you build to help customers find you. You're sending out signals that you can help them, and you have to be persistent and consistent in those signals, because our attention span is getting worse. My attention, I had a bad attention span in high school. I can't imagine it's even worse now. So that's the first reason. I think the second reason not to do an online course is because you're really excited about passive income and it sounds really easy. And it reminds me of, there's a meme going around. It's a banner hanging in a business. It's a big red banner and it says, "We're doing this not because it's easy, but we thought it would be easy." And now they're committed to doing it. And that's how I started out. I started out thinking, oh, all therapists need a course and it's just easy. I just tell them, oh, you can make money doing a course, or you can pursue your mission doing a course. And it's not as that easy just saying it, because I've had success, but I've had to be persistent and not like start one day and disappear the next. I've had to stick with it for the long haul, and I've paid a life experience. Like I paid for it with life experience. I'm earning my dues by just doing it, not being perfect, and doing it again. Yeah. So it's there's work to it, And anybody who says, you can make thousands and thousands of dollars with 5 hours of work, I don't think that's possible. There might be a
Right.
few lucky people or famous
Mm-hmm.
people who can do that, but for most of us, we got
Yeah.
to pay our dues with life
Right.
experience.
You've got to build an audience, as we call it, in order for those kinds of things to really do well. Well, what would be the third reason not to
Well,
start a course?
I think the third reason is you're just burnt out. You're tired of therapy, and you want to try something new, and you think a course is going to fix your life. Like, oh, I'll just make this course, and all my problems will go away. I think
Mhm.
burnout is a feeling, and I think it's something therapists struggle with a lot. You're doing emotional work, difficult work, and you're
Mhm.
carrying the weight. I mean, I was going to say you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. I know good therapists can brush it off, but when I was doing intakes in a mental health inpatient unit, you had to care a little bit. Like you had to care for the person. You had to let them in and show that what they were saying was impacting you, like that it was meaningful. So you had to hurt a little bit so they knew you cared. You still had your boundaries and you still had whatever, but if you didn't care, they didn't talk to you.
Mhm.
Like there was
Mhm.
no connection or therapeutic alliance when you did the intake. So you had to hurt a little bit. And so if you
Yeah.
hurt a little bit 50 times a week, you're going to burn out. Like you're just going to burn out. Is that making sense?
Yeah. 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 So it's really a matter of really thinking about your energy level as much as anything. Yeah.
And I know when I am emotional, I think about anger. I've made some really bad decisions when I'm angry or like angry at somebody or said something in a relationship out of anger that I really regret. And I think it's the same. That's probably the biggest mistakes I've made when I'm angry. The second one would probably be when I'm burnout and I'm just like tired. And
Hmm.
then making decisions when you're tired and you're not ready to go is a bad decision. Like you got to be in the right environment to grow. And I live in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and there's lots of farming, farm equipment, fields being plowed, lots of equipment.
Hmm.
Why did they do this in the spring? Why do they plant in the spring? Because the fall and the winter prepared the soil for the environment to be ready for growth, and then
Hmm.
they do the activities at the right time to grow. And so if you're burnt out, taking on another thing that's going to divide your attention, take time, and it's also going to take emotional, mental energy to do, it's just not the right time. Create the space for yourself. Do what needs to do so that you're not burnt out, and then you'll be ready to grow in the right season. Everybody's on a journey. Everybody's in a season.
Hmm.
I think there could be a lot more courses, but not if they're created out of burnout. It's just not
Right.
it's not the right
Right.
time.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, so I know we've got to be mindful of our time, James, and that sort of thing. But tell folks how they can be in touch with you and find out more
Sure.
about what you do.
So I want to support you on your diversification journey or your passive income journey or just your mission. For me, I am mission minded. I love helping people who are on a mission to do something. So, and you know what that is for you. Like just think of your top 3 clients, like if they call, you pick up the phone right away because you can help them. You know that it's going to be a good call. What if all your clients were like that? What if
Hmm.
every person you served was the client that you love to serve because you could help them and grow. So I want to help you get there with online educational products, courses, coaching products. And so I have 3 ways for you to reach out to me. One is if you're just dreaming, I have a free resource on the store page. It's 15 ways to package your experience into a coaching product. It's a checklist and it's information about just 15 different ways you can package it up. Those are for people they're not ready, but they're dreaming. I'm running a challenge. The challenge is going to be from therapist chair to course 5-day challenge. So it's just, okay, you think you want to make a course. So who are the people that are going to buy it? What are you going to make? And how do you know when they're ready to buy? So it's like a planning challenge. In 5 days, you'll have a plan that you can enact and put it on your calendar. And then for the people who are like, you know what? I know what I want to do. I'm ready to invest some money. I want some accountability. I'm launching my 6-month cohort course where you travel with up to 20 different therapists. I have room for 20 different therapists to build your own online coaching educational product that can fund your mission. Like you'll sell it for a price, but it also will feed your soul. It could be a great first step to growing your practice and scaling your practice. So all of that is on coursecreationstudio.com. I'll give Gordon the links. The store page is courses.coursecreationstudio.com/store. It's a mouthful. I wish I had a shorter webpage name, but oh well. So here you go. I'm imperfectly moving forward.
Yes. Well, like James said, we'll have the links here in the show notes and the show summary, and so you can access that again. Well, James, as usual, it's always good to have you on the show. Any parting thoughts for folks as we close out this particular episode?
So I think the biggest barrier that I learned in the last year is me. Like, I'm the biggest barrier, because I tend to look at things like, oh, I haven't done enough, or I'm not like this person. I compare myself to other people. And I read the book, The Gap and the Gain, and that's called Living in the Gap. And I was living in the gap probably for 40 years, like for a long time, like comparing myself, and I'm never good enough, and I realized if I look at how far I've come instead of how far I have to go, like that is very motivating. Like I got married. I have a son. I have a business. I have a master's degree. Like I have people that use my services. Those are the things that fire me up. And so look at how far you've come, get fired up, and then see if there's a course in your future.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think it's, as people have heard, I have my planner that I'd rely on a lot, the Full Focus Planner. And it's one of the things it does is in there is it takes you through this process of a weekly review, and it starts with what are your wins. And so I think it's so important to go back and look at, well, like you said, James, your accomplishments, rather than, it's an abundance mindset rather than a deficit mindset or scarcity mindset. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it's really hard to advance if you're in a scarcity mindset or a limiting mindset.
Well, thanks again, James. And folks, I'm sure you'll hear more from James here in the future, and check out the links here in the show notes.
Rachel here again. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to follow Practice of Therapy on Instagram and check out our sponsor, TherapyNotes, the all-in-one EHR trusted by therapists, and Gordon. Big thank you to James Marland for his insight. Go to practiceoftherapy.com/James to sign up for that complimentary coaching call. And last but not least, thank you to our partners, Fully Booked Pros and Mental Health Wear TN. Oh, and before I forget, you can watch all these episodes on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Okay, we'll catch you next week.
You've been listening to the Practice of Therapy podcast with Gordon Brewer, part of the Psychcraft network of podcasts. You can find out more about the other great podcasts in the network by visiting psychcraftnetwork.com. And if you haven't done so already, please visit us at practiceoftherapy.com and get your free private practice startup guide. along with a lot of other great resources and webinars and free things just by visiting. Also, be sure to follow us wherever you might be listening to your podcasts. This podcast is intended to be educational in purpose and is not intended to give legal, accounting, or counseling advice. If you need a professional, find the right person for that.